investigating an officer-involved shooting involving Pasadena PD. With me is Chief Kruger from Pasadena PD. Early this morning, a Cadillac Escalade was stolen at the 9800 block of Blackhawk, which is a Houston address. Almost at 3 o'clock, OnStar notified Pasadena PD because that vehicle was in their area. At that point, they shut the vehicle off, and Pasadena PD, was in the city of South Houston, approached the suspect. The suspect then put a gun to his head as if he was going to commit suicide. At that point, Pasadena backed off. Suspect jumped into another unoccupied vehicle with the keys in it and stole that truck, which is here on this scene. And at that point, he left, he drove off, and ignored Pasadena PD as they were trying to pull him over. He refused to stop for Pasadena. He rammed several vehicles on the Gulf Freeway. He drove southbound in the northbound lanes of the Gulf Freeway. He then exited Fuquay, and at that point, Pasadena PD pinned him here, and he brandished a weapon at that point, and then the shooting occurred. I'd like to say that there's no HPD officers involved. We're just out here with the District Attorney's Office investigating doing a parallel investigation with Pasadena PD, who's going to be doing the administrative investigation. And so now I'd like to turn it over to Chief Kruger. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. So just to follow up, we had 4 officers that were involved in the shooting, fired multiple rounds. At this time, all that's still under investigation. Like Chief Bainbridge said, we're going to do the administrative investigation, and they're going to conduct the other investigation in concert with the District Attorney's Office.
What's the status of the suspect?
The suspect is deceased here at the scene.
Was there an exchange of gunfire, do you know?
That's still under investigation.
Did he point a weapon at one of your officers?
I was told it was brandished. I don't know whether it was pointed, displayed. That I don't know the exact details yet.
And do you know how many of your officers fired? Just one?
4 of our officers, we believe, fired.
Four officers
Yes,
fired?
Do you believe the suspect here, who's deceased, was the person who stole the Cadillac?
That's still under investigation.
How long was there like a chase? How long did that last, do you know?
Probably about 15, 20 minutes.
And there were vehicles that were hit on the freeway?
Yes.
Any injuries from that you know of?
Not that I know of.
How many vehicles were rammed, or?
That I don't know.
The truck that was stolen, was there somebody in the truck that he forced them out, and how did that happen?
My understanding, it was unoccupied and the keys were left in it.
Did you have any communication with the suspect at any point where you actually spoke to him, or he threatened? Said anything, you wouldn't do anything like that?
I don't know that yet. We haven't talked to the officers that are involved yet, so I'm not sure what conversation took place, if any.
What prompted them? Did they do like some sort of maneuver to put a stop to this here, or what prompted this to happen here?
I don't know all the details. What I do know is I believe he lost control, and then they moved in around him, the vehicle.
When he brandished the gun to his head, was that when he was in the Cadillac before he got in the truck?
That was when he got out of the Cadillac and got in the truck.
He had a gun to his head as he was like leaving the Cadillac, getting into the truck.
That's right. It's about the time our officers had pulled up because OnStar had shut the vehicle off.
And that was at, what was that location again?
That's over in the city of South Houston, over at a college in Arizona.
So was the other truck just was that his truck or another stolen truck, or carjacked somebody else?
The truck that is here at the scene, that truck was unoccupied with the keys in it. I'm told it's a survey crew vehicle. I have not confirmed that, but that's the information I have right now.
He was alone through all this?
As far as I know, yes.
And your 4 officers fired at him behind you?
Yes, that's correct.
So was there any bystanders around? I mean, was there anybody else involved in this, like put in danger or lockdown, neighborhood, that kind of thing?
No, there's a couple witnesses. I know that the Houston Police Department's identified that they're talking to, but as far as being in danger, not that I know of.
Have you identified the suspect, and does he have any history of criminal or mental health issues?
We have not identified him yet, no.
And do you know the circumstances behind him stealing the car earlier in the day?
I was told it was a carjacking at gunpoint, but as far as the details, that's Houston's case, so I'm not sure.
That would be the Cadillac.
That's the Cadillac, yes.
And in your standard procedure, like you're talking about 4 officers fired?
Yes.
Are they like on desk duty? What's the process?
So our policy is they'll be on administrative leave for the next 5 days. Then there's some steps that they have to go through before they can return to duty.
I mean, obviously, you don't know which of the 4 fired the fatal shot or whatever.
Right, correct.
I know it's early, but the video from above, the chopper video, shows a lot of bullet holes in the vehicle. Does that seem justified and whatnot at this point? Is it too early? I don't know. It looks like a lot, but I don't know all the circumstances.
I don't either yet. It's obviously early in the investigation, and you have 4 officers from 4 different angles, so I'm not sure how many are even, how many rounds were fired yet. We'll figure that out through the investigation.
Did the suspect fire back at the officer?
That I don't know. There's some conflicting information on that, so I'm not sure.
What was the biggest concern? That he's like driving erratically and that he would possibly run into somebody and hurt people?
You have a lot of concerns. You have a suspect that we know is armed. Obviously, no regard for other people's safety when he's driving in oncoming traffic and striking other vehicles. So there's a lot of concerns.
I mean, it sounds like it. I mean, obviously, it could have been a lot worse.
It certainly could have, yes.
So it technically involved 3 jurisdictions. So he's carjacking Houston. You guys had sort of a standoff in South Houston.
So how it happened? We got the information from OnStar that the vehicle was in our jurisdiction. It was right on the border, our southwest border, and so it was between South Houston and Pasadena. And by the time our folks got to the area, he was actually in the city of South Houston, and so our folks went over there. South Houston, to my knowledge, never actually made the scene over there.
And so he was in South Houston. He was in that car. That's when he pointed the gun to his head, and then he jumped into the survey car, and then you guys gave chase.
Yes, ma'am.
And then when you ended up here, there was the gunfire. When was the last time you guys had an officer involved shooting in Pasadena? Was it this year?
We had one within the last month.
Okay.
The suspect, he was acting alone.
As far as I know, yes.
Any weapons and more weapons in the car, or just?
I don't believe anybody's been in the vehicle yet. Waiting for investigators in the crime scene unit to process the vehicle.
And where do you believe the shots were from? Right at this location, or?
Yes.
The officers on administrative leave, or are they?
They will be placed on administrative leave for at least the next 5 days.
I'm Neil. Can we get your name?
Yep, my first name is Josh, Josh. Last name is Brugger, Bruegger.
Title or position?
I am the Chief of Police for Pasadena.
And you, ma'am?
Assistant Chief Wendy Bainbridge, BAIMBRIDGE.
Houston, please.
Houston Police. Any more questions? Thank you all.
Thank you so much.